Interpreter Mathieu da Costa was the first free black person to arrive in Canada in 1604. He was an Afro-French member of the exploring party of Pierre Duguay, the Sieur de Mons, and Samuel de Champlain that traveled from France to the New World in the early 17th century. Zipporah Potter Atkins was a free African-American woman who owned land in colonial Boston during a time when few women or African-Americans owned land in the American colonies. The first free African-American community, Gracia Real de Santa Teresa de Mos, later named Fort Mose, was in Spanish Florida. The first known African-American and slave to compose a work of literature was Lucy Terry with her poem Bar's Fight, composed in 1746 and first published in 1855 in Josiah Holland's History of Western Massachusetts. She was an American settler and poet. Kidnapped in Africa and enslaved, she was taken to the British colony of Rhode Island. Her future husband purchased her freedom before their marriage in 1756. The first known African-American published author was Jupiter Hammond with his poem, An Evening Thought, Salvation by Christ with Penitential Cries, published as a broadside. The first African-American clockmaker, Peter Hill, was born on July 19, 1767, in the Burlington Township, New Jersey. He is assumed to be the son of slaves owned by a clockmaker named Joseph Hollinshead. First known African-American to be elected to public office was Wentworth Cheswell, Town Constable and Justice of the Peace in Newmarket, New Hampshire. The first known African-American woman to publish a book was Phyllis Wheatley, with poems on various subjects, religious and moral. The first African-American to join the Freemasons was Prince Hall. He was an abolitionist and leader in the free black community in Boston. He founded Prince Hall Freemasonry and lobbied for education rights for African-American children. He was also active in the Back to Africa movement. First African-American U.S. military regiment was the 1st Rhode Island Regiment. It was raised in Rhode Island during the American Revolutionary War. It was one of the few units in the Continental Army to serve through the entire war, from the Siege of Boston to the disbanding of the Continental Army on November 3, 1783. The first African-American to formally practice medicine was Dr. James Durham. He was an American physician and emancipated slave who was the first African-American to formally practice medicine in the United States. Despite practicing medicine, he never received an MD degree. First African-American ordained as a Christian minister in the United States was Reverend Lemuel Haynes. He was ordained in the Congregational Church, which became the United Church of Christ. 3,000 black loyalist slaves founded the first major African-American Back to Africa movement, who had escaped to British lines during the American Revolutionary War for the promise of freedom, were relocated to Nova Scotia and given land. Later, 1,200 chose to migrate to West Africa and settle in the new British colony of Settlertown, which is present-day Sierra Leone. First, African Methodist Episcopal was church founded. The Mother Bethel AME Church, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, was founded by Richard Allen. The first African Episcopal Church was established. Absalom Jones founded African Episcopal Church of St. Thomas, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And like always, Thanks for watching, and don't forget the notification bell. Peace and love, my friends.